Hello and welcome back to the garage. Today we're going to start part 2 of this desk build. We've got our top here and the plan is today is to cut it down to size, and we also need to measure up and cut the hole for the glass to sit in and then router the edge so that the glass will sit flush with the top of the wood. What I've got here is some 2.7mm kitchen worktop. It's solid beech, and I got this for a still because it's actually an offcut. It's only 1.5 meters, so I got this for £65, which is the most expensive part of this desk build. But unlike my usual builds, which are sort of designed to be, the objective usually is to be strong and functional like this, but as close to free as possible, and that means they don't usually look sort of house worthy, pretty, but this desk build, the aim was for it to look really good as well as being cheap. So for example, this workbench here is something that I built out of scrap wood. Someone was demolishing a garage, and this was all roof timbers and floorboards, and I picked all this wood up for free and used it to build this functional, solid workbench, but it's not the prettiest. It's ideal for this sort of thing, but this is going in the house and I want it to look really good, so I've spent some money on this top, and I want to make sure we get the cuts right, so it's a case of measure twice and cut once. So I've done the outline here. This is going to be the size of the top of the desk, and then right in the center I offered up the piece of glass and used it as a template to get the outline, and we're going in I don't know, about 3/4 centimetre we're going in. So this inside line here is where we'll cut with the jigsaw, and the outside line is where we'll use the router to come out to, and the glass will sit in that little groove. And actually we're going to put some of this stuff inside the groove, and the glass will sit and squeeze on top of that, and it'll create a nice seal, and it will sit nice and flush the whole way around. So I'm just going to continue drawing those lines, and then I'll jigsaw these edges off next. Okay, with that done, I just want to plane that edge now that I've jigsawed it. I just want to make sure that it's really nice, flat and smooth. Today on Make Do Workshop, we use a workmate and a kitchen stool as a cut table. Anyway, let's get this other line cut here, and then we'll be left with our finished top size. So a jigsaw is obviously not the ideal method for cutting something as big and as thick as this, but it is all I've got, so we'll have to make do. But because we've used a jigsaw, the edges won't be perfectly flat and smooth, so what we'll do now is come along with the electric planer and get those nice and square. Okay, if you saw the last little clip of me planing here, then you'll understand why this time I've got the planer hooked up to the workshop vacuum here, because it is quite messy. So it's going to be a bit loud, but I'll show you a quick one of it. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a nice straight edge now, which is good. So the top's now the right size, it's planed, it's nice and square, it's nice and flat. So the last step is going to be to jigsaw out the hole for the glass. You can see I've already drilled the holes to assist with the jigsaw there. So that's next. And there we go, there's the hole cut out. I'm sorry I wasn't recording, but I was concentrating quite hard on making sure the lines were as straight as possible and the corners were not too bad. I really didn't want a expensive piece of wood, so I wasn't recording, but it's done. The only thing left to do now with the top is to router around the edge to seat the glass in, but I don't actually have a router here at the moment. I need to get one, so we'll come back and do that. So that'll be the end of this video. Come back and see part 3 to see why I've cut a massive great big hole out of this lovely piece of wood here, just to put a piece of glass in it to presumably look at my own feet. Well, that's not quite the case. Yeah, have a look at part 3.